All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believing on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And real briefly, I'm a little short on time, but I do want to go ahead and get this lesson in, while it's on my spirit. Yeah, it's about 6:30. I, go a good 30 minutes, if it's not shorter than that. But anyway, as you see from the title, it says the Lord made Esau to think he was on their side, all for this reason, right? Or should I say purpose? Let's change it to purpose. All for this purpose. And the reason or the purpose is, let me change it real quick in my title. All right, there we go. So as we see in the title, says the Lord made Esau think he was on their side, all for this purpose, man. And it's a specific reason that the Lord have been allowing the so-called white man to do what he have been doing in the earth. He allowed Esau Edom to blaspheme him, which is him being the Most High Yahweh, right? Turned him into a white God, right? An all-loving God, took away the fear of a higher power, blaspheme his son, which we know as Yahweh Shai, changed him into a soft, little white boy, so on and so forth, right? Changing the angels, hey, not even that, who the Lord people are. So this so-called white man have been able to get away with a lot since he been ruling, man. Hey, even since he wasn't ruling. Remember, this same spirit was in that serpent, as they call a serpent in the garden, but it was a man, right? Well, that spirit, that's the so-called white man today. Esau, right? Cain. That's been in their descendants. And when you look back at these characters in the Lord's scriptures, Cain, right? Esau, the serpent, and the descendants of the Edomites, they really have never been paid back for what they done. When you look at world history, they have never been paid back for the things they did in the past. And even now that they have came into rulership, because they did a lot of wickedness when they wasn't ruling, when there was peasants on the earth, talking about the so-called white man, woman, and child. They did a lot of dirt when they wasn't ruling. You see? So how much more that the Lord got to pay them for the wickedness that they have done since they came into power, man. All the lies, right? The stealing, murder, breaking covenants and treaties, so on and so forth. Hey, Shalom, Yahbashim Ashar Brakatah, and Shalom, Yahbashim Ashar Brakatham. To all y'all who may be tuning in or who hop on the comment board. You see? But the Lord have let the so-called white man get away with a lot, and he's still getting away with a lot, man. Just like Cain said, whoever, see me gonna slay me. Well, look, the Lord put a mark on this man. So people, the Lord put a mark on this man, in other words, to reserve him. And that's going into the latter end of the title on why the Heavenly Father have allowed this devil, the so-called white man, to do all he have been doing in the earth without judging him. You see? All for the purpose, so when a destruction come, it could be that much more worse. The Lord have been saving the best for last. And I got this inspiration to do this lesson from the Apostle Ramla. Him and Elder D-Mash. I went on a little jog about an hour and some change ago, and I was listening to the Apostle Ramla lesson him and Elder D-Mash went into. And it was going into Esau. The title of it was whether in pretense or sincerity. But he was going into Esau, how the Most High allowed the so-called white man to do all of it. Let's get a scripture. To do all that he have done in the earth. And the Apostle Ramla mentioned how Esau actually thought the Most High was on his side. But as we know in Job, let's get Job real quick. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. Let's get Job real quick. And again, I'm short on time. Try to be out here in less than 30. If the Lord said the same, move according to the spirit. But let's get Job real quick, because this is what we understand, man. So look, because that's a question people like to ask, or people wonder, how does so-called white man always get off so easy? Even if it's a judgment as far as him caught stealing or with drugs, he don't get jail time or prison time, right? as another nation, mainly a black heart or Hispanic. He get off easy. Well, the Lord is allowing that because when real judgment comes from on high, it's directed at a specific nation. And it's the nation who been getting off this whole time, the nation of Edom, man. Let's get this real quick. This is Job 12 and 16. It says, with him, with who? With the Most High Yahweh. It says, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Now, the deceived are the masters in the world who following after who? The deceiver, the devil, Esau, Satan himself, right? But the Lord, although he's allowing Esau to deceive people and get over on people, not even knowing the whole time the Most High is getting over on him. Let's go to this Psalms 50. Let's snag this real quick. This Psalms 50, and I'm going to start at 16. It says, but unto the wicked, the Most High self, and we know who the wicked are, according to Malachi, what that is, 1 and 4. It says, let's read it again. Psalms 50 and 16, but unto the wicked, the Most High self, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. And Esau, which a lot of this stuff that's written is directed to our people, but we can use it for Esau as well. Because he took in his hand, right, as if he the priest of the Lord. The scriptures, what Ronald Reagan say that America, I forget what year it was, but he coined 1 year in America, the year of the Bible. Right? So since you took this word, what happened when presidents get sworn in? What they put their hand on? The Quran? The Quran? No, they put it on the Bible. So you put your hand on a Bible. Let's use Joe Biden, for example, when he just got sworn in at his ceremony. Joe Biden had the biggest Bible. Look it up. You could Google it. He had the biggest Bible known to man, right? Put his hand on it, got sworn into office as if he was going to uphold the laws of the Bible, him and the government. And the first day he was in office, he passed laws for transformer people, rainbow flag supporters. So that's just an example of Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High self, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. And that's what America do. They like to paint themselves as they some type of holy nation, right? God bless America, a God-fearing country. What they got on the, in God we trust, right? But everything from God or the Most High Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, they throw it behind their backs. And look, the Lord been allowing it. It's the point. He's been allowing it. He's been allowing the so-called white man to oppress us as Israelites. Ain't do nothing about it. The Most High ain't do nothing about it. You see? He let this so-called white man take over all these other nations in the world. The Most High ain't do nothing about it. He been allowing him. He allowed him to take the scriptures, which he didn't. Well, I was about to say he didn't do nothing to the word, but you go back into slavery, he had a slave Bible. Man taking out whole books, scriptures, verses. The Most High ain't do nothing, though. He destroying the earth, putting a hole in the ozone, right? Killing the Most High creation on land when he go hunting. Killing the Most High creation in the water when he go fishing. And ain't nothing wrong with hunting and fishing. Esau do it too much. It's the point. For trophies. You see? And after all this, the Most High ain't do nothing. Why though? Going back to the title. What's the title again? The Lord made Esau think he was on their side. This whole time the Most High been sitting back. Man, there's something in Psalms. I think 94. The Most High been sitting back allowing it for the purpose, because when he do bring judgment on Edom, oh my, it's going to be way much more worse than if he would have judged them when they helped out the Babylonians. Let's go way back. If he would have, sent judgment on Cain, not just messed his pigment up, right? It wouldn't have been as worse as it will be in these times. If he would have judged Esau back then for wanting to kill Jacob, right? It wouldn't have been as worse in these times. If he would have judged their descendants back then for things they done, The judgment wouldn't be as bad in these times because now the Lord adding everything on from the beginning, from how he made Eve and the sons of God go off, killing the sons of God way back then with Tubal Cain them. And then Cain got to get judged for all he done. Esau ain't his descendants all the way up until 2023 AD. How bad you think this judgment about to get? Come on, man. Let me get this real quick. Since it's sitting on side of me, let me get this in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Let's go to Edom. Let's read about Edom in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. And we're going to get back to these scriptures because the point I want is verse 21. Let's get back to this and we can move on. Let's read Edom in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Now, this is what it say. It's on page 142 for y'all who out there who may have this. But it's on page 142, and I'm going to get straight to the point. It says Edom, which is Esau, the so-called white man, woman, and child. It says Edom, which figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. Let's read it one more time. Edom figures prominently. In other words, where you go find Esau at in the Bible, it says in the prophetic scriptures of great future judgments. Why is great? And we ain't done with that. Why is great? Because the Lord been letting everything build up, letting that tab build up. And it says, and she, talking about the nation of Edom, and she is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High. And who's the neighbor of the Israelites? These nations. Because after 1,000 years, they're going to be under our rules still, but they're going to enjoy a righteous kingdom, man. Esau ain't going to get that same mercy. And it ain't just from what he did now, it's because what he been doing. So let's finish off in his Job real quick. Psalms, we can move on. So this back in Psalms 50 and 21. That was the main point. It says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence, right? And everything we just explained, which is just a few, because Esau tab reacheth unto the heavens. Like Paul said in Hebrews 11, time would fail me if we try to name everything Esau have done. But the Most High said, but these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. And because the Most High ain't judged this man right then and there, what Esau thought, and thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. He thought the Most High was on his side. Let me see what that's saying in NLT. Just curious. He thought the Most High was on his side. He making movies, God White, and Jesus. It said, and you thought I didn't care. And NIV version say, when you did these things, I kept silent, and you thought I was exactly like you. But again, the Most High has been deceiving the deceiver, man. He been deceiving the deceiver. So let's finish this in Psalms. It says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. It probably was in their spirit, like, man, you know what? This Yahweh character might be with us. He might give us our birthright back. You see? We might get it back. Let's just keep telling niggas to make rap music and eat pork and live the way they live. The Lord might be back with us, right? But the Lord says, but I will reprove thee. So correction is here. I would say it's coming because it's here though. And how you go reprove them? And I will set them in order before thine eyes by allowing the prophets to raise up. Those who got the testimony. Somebody who got a testimony likened unto a witness. That's why Revelation 12 and 17 say, which we ain't gonna get it. But it says that Esau want to come after those of the Israelites who have the testimony of Yahweh Shai and who keep the laws of the Lord. Why? Because remember, Esau is a fugitive in the earth. He's on the run. And that's what we touching on in this lesson. He thought he was good. You know that TV show, I'm sure y'all, hey, Shalom Danyala. I'm sure y'all probably seen it. But it used to be a TV show called I Almost Got Away With It. It was on the Discovery Channel, I believe. Right, or the Forensic Channel. But I almost got away with it. And it went into all kind of stories, how you had these prison inmates, they escape, be on a run for 20 years, 15 years, 40 years. But out of nowhere, they'll get caught up. If y'all seen that show. But that's exactly what the Lord been doing to Esau. He allowed this man to be on the run to think he was good. And now that witnesses is coming out and look, pointing the finger at him, now he in fear. Now he know his judgment is coming. That's why he about to react to what he gonna do on the earth here in a few with great wrath. But let's get this real quick. This is 2 Maccabees 6 and verse 12. This is in the NLT. It says, I beg you not to become discouraged as you read about the terrible things that happen. And when you go into this, when you read above, it was going into how us as the nation of Israel, we were suffering heavily under the Greek Empire and how a lot of us was getting put to death for not eating pork. So the scriptures right here was saying, look, those who read this, us Israelites, don't get discouraged by that. You know, when we read Esau will come down with great wrath and Jacob's trouble and this and that, we shouldn't get discouraged by those things, man. But it says, consider this. Consider that. Let me read it from the top. 2 Maccabees 6 and 12 in the GNT. It says, I beg you not to become discouraged as you read about the terrible things that happen. Consider that this was the Lord's way of punishing his people, not of destroying them. You see? So the Lord, yeah, he's been punishing us as Israelites. It was seen, like it's saying Malachi, like what the Lord love us, how he love us if he put us through this. But even when we're about to read here, even through our judgments, that's still love and mercy that the Lord show us as Israelites, because he punished us on spot so we can correct it quickly on spot. That's why in our laws, a lot of times it says, if you see a man lying with mankind, as he do a woman, then put him to death. And what the Lord will say after that, so everybody else could fear, so they don't do it. Us as Israelites, we get judged on spot. Amos 3 and 3. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, he punished us for our iniquities. That's mercy in that. Because if the Lord really didn't love us, he'll let us just go off, keep fucking up. Until when it's time to get judged, now it's time to get judged for a whole lot of other stuff too. So that's even mercy in how he judged us as Israelites. Because it says, verse 13, because in fact, it is a sign of kindness to punish a person immediately for his sins rather than to wait a long time. So that's kindness if you get on somebody quickly. Now, the point I'm bringing this out is because verse 14, the Lord does not treat us as he does the other nations. He waits patiently until they have become deeply involved in sin before he punishes them. But he punished us before we have sinned too much. And that's why I want to get this, because this goes right into the topic. The Lord have been waiting patiently until Esau have become deeply involved in sin. Now it's time to punish this man. You see? Now it's time to give him exactly what he deserved. It's a like if I'm moving fast, like I said, I'm short on time. But let's snag this. This is Job 21. And let's start at 28. It says, for ye say, where is the house of the prince? And where are the dwelling places of the wicked? Right? Subject matter is who? The wicked. Where they at? You see? Now we know the wicked have been given rulership over the whole earth, but his main hub is right here in America, Babylon the Great. It says, and where are the dwelling places of the wicked? Have you not asked them that go by the way, and do ye not know their tokens? And who's the wicked again? Esau. It says, verse 30, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. So the Lord have really been allowing this man to get off. Why you think when somebody commit a crime against a white person, right, they get years in prison, or it's a hefty fine or a sentence? But if a white person, an Edomite, let's not call them white, let's give them their real name. You know how they beat our nationality out of us. What's your name, boy? Kunta. No, it's Toby. Well, we need to beat their national. Well, we ain't gonna touch them right now. We need to speak their nationality into them. You see? You ain't no Caucasian. You ain't no white man. You an Edomite. And the Lord says that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. I've been mentioning it, but I got to get it. Teaching purposes. Malachi 1 and 4. Who is the wicked? Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom right? The nation of Edom, because a lot of people, and I like to go to this verse because a lot of people, heathens, Christians, they like to say when we bring out prophecies about Edom, they like to say, well, he was, those things are for the man Esau himself, as if just Esau was rejected and not the rest of the nation. Or Cain was rejected and not nobody else. Well, this verse about to point to all y'all, man, which a couple more prophecies, not a couple, but a lot of other prophecies point to all y'all too. But it says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And they did that. And that's why we in America right now, because they did build back. And it says, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them, T-H-E-M, not just him, Esau, but they shall call them the border of wickedness. And the people, not just Esau, Isaac's son, and the people against whom Yahweh have indignation forever, man. So wherever Esau at, wickedness gonna be there. And that's why the Lord allowed this man to rule this long and to go this far. Because we're gonna see a destruction that's gonna make people remember. Remember, the Lord brought a destruction in Egypt and everybody feared, but they forgot. You see, remember Rahab the harlot, she was telling the spies, man, everybody over here fear. We heard what y'all God did for y'all. But look, people forgot. That's why today people call themselves atheists. So what you think the Most High, Yahweh and Yahushua about to do as far as a destruction go, that's going to keep fear into these people from when he bring it in 2020, however it's going, 23, 24, until forever. No other nation or heathen going to lose fear of our power again. So what you think this destruction going to be like for the world to fear Yahweh and Yahushua forever, man? Not just for a season in Egypt. So again, Job 21 and 30, that the wicked is reserved. Reserved to what? To the day of destruction. People get reservations, parking, for seats at a restaurant. You can't sit there unless it's reserved for you. You can't park here unless it's your spot. Well, look, destruction was set up for one nation, the nation of Edom, man. And it says, and they shall be brought forth to the day of destruction. Telling, look, there's nowhere to run from it. They're gonna be brought forth to this. Let's get Romans real quick. So let me text his brother real quick. Bear with me. It's all right, cool. I gotta get on the call with her. Hey, shalom to the Apostle Aram Lab. Just send him on there. Hey, how about Shemel Shah Barakatham to all y'all on the comment board. Yeah, Apostle, I was telling the brothers that I got this inspiration to do this lesson from watching your lesson. You and Elder D-Mash earlier. You mentioned that Psalms 50 and it, sparked my spirit. But let's snag this real quick in Romans 9, just to pinpoint Esau, because we've been reading that the wicked was reserved. So let's pinpoint and see exactly who the Lord been talking about, because even in Romans 9, Apostle Paul gave us a clue on who exactly was going to be reserved until the day of destruction. So let's specify this nation. This is Romans 9. Let's start at 11. Let's start at 10. This is Romans 9 and 10. It says, not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. So, and this not just pinpointing Isaac's sons, because it's going to Jacob and Esau. That's the subject matter right here. And we're going to read on. But this is for everybody. Everybody's purpose is laid. It's done. It was already chosen what each man was going to do. You see? That's why it's not a surprise that we here doing what the Lord allowing us to do, man. But verse 12, it says, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. So that's a cut to these Christians. They try to, like Apostle Tahar did a video today. Now Esau, they got in the movie Esau Black now. So with red hair, I guess that's the ruddy part, right? But it says the elder shall serve the younger. So it wasn't nothing that Jacob could have done different that was going to change him from getting a birthright. It was even if Esau would have came home quicker before Isaac blessed Jacob, the Lord could have had to go another way, man. The point is, it was already said and done. It says, verse 13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid. Oh, kind of apostle said, that show I almost got away with it. It's one of my favorites, which you mentioned. The count up. I used to love that. I used to love that show. And you know what, too, Apostle? It was mainly a lot of Edomites in that show that was featured. They went to prison, escaped, and then they was caught. It was mainly Edomites who was featured in that show. It wasn't a lot of Mexicans or Hispanics or Negroes. The majority of those people who escaped and got caught eventually was Edomites, man. Look how the Lord do that, man. Well, that's the same thing we telling Esau. You almost got away with it if it wasn't, Scooby-Doo, if it wasn't for those meddling prophets. That's why he want to get this truth out the way, but it's out there now. But let's go back to this, because remember, the subject matter is Jacob and Esau. And now Apostle Paul brought up Jacob and Esau for a reason. It says, so then, Romans 9:16, so then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but the Most High that showeth mercy. Now, this is the point it brought up Esau, as it's saying in the title. The Lord made Esau to think he was on their side, all for this purpose. Even Pharaoh at a point in time, he wasn't regarding, he even asked Moses and them, who is Yahweh? And when you go into it, he said the Most High name is capital L-O-R-D. He said, who is Yahweh? Well, Esau feel the same way, as if it's not a God no more. Like Yuval Noah Harari said, they God. As if they one up the Most High. And that's a sign of their heart being hardened for one purpose. Romans 9:17, for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh. Now, that's why I brought up Pharaoh. The Lord brought many judgments against this man. He wanted to tap out. Pharaoh did want to tap out, but the Lord made him keep going. Just like he making Esau keep going, continue to oppress, continue to lie and murder, so on and so forth. But what happened to Pharaoh? Pharaoh had to do all that because say if he would have let Moses and them go after the third plague or the fifth plague or the sixth, seventh plague, then the firstborns would have never died. Pharaoh and his army would have never got drowned in the midst of the sea. We would have never had these things for hope and comfort. So he had the Lord, our power is dramatic. He had to do all that to make the destruction great like that, man. So he's allowing Esau to get by daily, just like Pharaoh. It says, for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up. Now remember, all of a sudden, Apostle Paul started talking about Pharaoh when we was talking about Esau and Jacob. Because the same purpose the Most High had Pharaoh oppressing the Israelites, Jacob, not letting us go, proud, thinking that he was good, his destruction came worse, man. As we read in 2 Maccabees. What the Most High do to heathens, he let their tabs stack up. Well, right here, Apostle Paul saying, just like the Lord did to Pharaoh back in Egypt, he doing to the new Pharaoh in this new Egypt. What's the new Egypt? Real quick, this Revelation 11:8. It says, and their dead bodies, which is us as Israelites, shall lie in the street of the great city, which is America, Babylon the Great, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Well, also our Lord was crucified, man, because it's the main hub of anti-Messiah, but it likened America to spiritual Egypt. It's another one I'm thinking of, Joel 3:17. It tied Esau and Egypt together. Or 19. I just want to get who this new Pharaoh is, because the same way the Lord did the old Pharaoh, had him keep going, thought he was good. The Lord had a judgment come. But what we get right now, we tie Esau to the new Pharaoh of this new Egypt. Joel 3:19. It says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and who else? And Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, because Esau is the new Pharaoh of this new Egypt. For the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in the land. So going back to Romans 17, since we see Esau, the so-called white man, is the new Pharaoh, for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up. So Esau came into power not because he just cold like that, because the Lord hated him before anything was. He came into power to be destroyed. Let me get this. This is why Esau came into power. This Ecclesiastes 8 and 9. It says, all this have I seen, and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt. And we in that time. It says, well, one man ruleth over another. Esau been ruling over us, but is it just because he's just that cold of a nation or that powerful? No. It says there is a time when one man ruleth over another to his own hurt. The Lord allowed this man to do this not just to the Israelites, but to all nations, to the Lord creation, to his own hurt. It's all going to backfire. And it's been many times with the nation of Israel in the scriptures it backfired. Haman is one that come to mind. You see? But let's continue in this Romans 9. It says, for the scriptures in verse 17, for the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up. Why? That I might show my power in thee. That's the reason. So the Lord can show who really is a king and a Lord and a God. And he goes sing Yahushua, man. And like the apostle had said on this lesson earlier, Yahushua coming for the head. He coming for the top nation. You look at warfares, in antiquity, or even now, it's allies that get cut down first, right? Weaker nations that get cut down first. So when, like I was watching some documentaries on Alexander the Great, and before he got to the Persians and the Medes, he was cutting down smaller nations first, so he can have an advantage strategically with geographical location. So he had to get other nations out the way. But Yahushua, he ain't come and get allies first to make sure he's set up for when he do come for Esau. No, he coming straight for Esau, man. He coming straight for the head nation. Because why? He gonna show his power in you. That's why it says, who is this that coming from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? You see? It says, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. So what this judgment gonna look like? And I mind you, Rahab was telling those back in Joshua, those spies, man, look, we all fear. We heard what y'all God did for y'all. We all trembling in our boots. But look, as ages went on, time went on, people forgot who the Most High was, who Yahushua was. So when he judged Esau, if everybody gonna fear forever, what this gotta be like, man? But let's continue on. It says, and therefore, and remember, we still talking to, the subject matter is still Esau and Jacob, right? Esau and Jacob. So Romans 9 and 18. So yeah, Esau is, Apostle Paul is prophesying. A lot of people say, well, ain't no apostle or Yahushua. They ain't never talk about Esau. Apostle Paul doing it right here. Come on, man. Romans 9 and 18. It says, therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will, he hardeneth. Verse 19, thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who have resisted his will? So people would say, well, why God got a problem if he making them do this? You see? Why he gonna judge the so-called white man, woman, and child, the nation of Edom and these other nations, if he made them do this to us? Well, it says, nay, but oh man, who art thou that thou repliest against the Most High? Who are we to ask questions? Like the Apostle Gabal say often, or every, once in a while, if you got a problem with the Most High, then kill yourself. And then when your spirit go up to him, then ask him why he did this and that, why he hate Esau. Come on, man. The Most High could do what he want. It says, nay, but oh man, who art thou that thou repliest against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Have not the potter power over the clay? It says, now check it out, of the same lump. So I'm gonna stop. It says of the same lump, because he about to, again, these scriptures, they speak parabolic, poetry. Because Apostle Paul is still talking about Esau and Jacob coming out of Isaac. So this lump right here, that the same lump that these two different people came out of is Isaac. Let's read it again. Have not the potter power over the clay, of the same lump. So out of one lump, to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor. Two different sons, two different nations came out of one man, one lump, Isaac. But one was made unto honor and another was unto dishonor. Now we see how he was talking about Esau and Jacob. And it says, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured which with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. We got to read this again. We have to read this again because Apostle Paul is getting busy right here, man. Way back then, he started with Jacob and Esau, saying, look, just how the Lord had Pharaoh go out for doing what he did to the Israelites, he doing the same thing for the same purpose to Esau. And out of this same lump, Jacob and Esau, verse 22, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? This goes perfectly into the topic. The Most High been keeping back his anger, wrath, allowing Esau to do this. You see? He's been long. In other words, yeah, the Most High have been showing Esau mercy. I want to see what this is in another version. He have been showing Esau mercy, but it ain't the mercy as we get. He just ain't judging him yet. Let's see. I'm going to read this Amplified Bible version. This be getting down sometime. This Romans 9:22 Amplified. It says, what of the Most High, although willing to show his terrible wrath and to make his power known, has tolerated with great patience the objects of his wrath, which are prepared for destruction, the Edomites. So the Lord, and look, it says fitted to destruction in a KJV. When you get fitted for something, so you go to a tailor, it's made specifically for you. It's designed specifically for you. Well, as we got in Job 21, destruction is reserved and designed and created specifically for the so-called white man, woman, and child, the nation of Edom. Let's read this in the Zondervan one more time. One more time. I ain't bring this out in a minute. Page 142 for the definition of Edom. Now, this in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. It says Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scripture. And we're going to get a couple of prophetic scriptures here. I just want to kind of set the stage first. It says prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites, so the only heathen nation, it says, who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High. Come on, man. And that's for us, the Israelites, verse 22, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory. Because when he finally judged the vessels of destruction, then it's going to be shown who was really the vessels of mercy, man. You see? But let's move on. Let me snag this real quick in Isaiah 34. Let's get some of those judgments that's coming against the so-called white man. But the Lord specifically allowed this man to do what he do, man. And call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for that. Even these average everyday Edomites, they so proud. Like I work with all Edomites, you know, in an office. And just a small thing, for example, Deion Sanders, because I work with a lot of them Texas A&M, you know, the Texas Longhorns, Edomites, you know, them cowboy hats and boots all day with dip in their mouth, right? But just the simple fact that Deion Sanders, what he doing and how he doing it, they hate it. They hate it so much. They so proud. They talk shit daily, right? But the point is a reason for that. It's a reason for that because the humbling that's going to come to the nation of Edom, man, it's going to be, man, I'm getting excited right now. This nation will be greatly humble. And I ain't just talking about the location as far as America. This place will be done with. Even now, the nation of Edom is being called out, even after this world. How the Lord got hate pointed towards this nation, that's going to roll over even into the next world until he get destroyed. Just like the rich man was trying to beg Lazarus to come make his captivity easier. These people really about to go through it, so I see why the Lord lift them up that much. It's understandable. And I wouldn't want it no other way. The Most High did it perfectly. I wouldn't want it no other way. But let's get straight to the point. Now, this is going into World War III. This is Isaiah 34. And let's start at 4. Because even in this is a specific judgment that was directed towards a certain nation. Now, World War III, all nations going to be fighting. But in this, the Most High got his judgment pointed towards a certain people and nation. Let's read it. Isaiah 34:4. It says, and all, should I start up? Now, because the first, 1 through 3, just going into pretty much Yahushua come and win World War III, and verse 4 going into the missiles. So it says, Isaiah 34:4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, talking about those mushroom clouds, and their host shall fall down as the leaf falleth off the vine, and as a fallen fig, and as a fallen fig from off the fig tree. Because when those missiles, look, they're coming out their silos, they're gonna be shot at an angle, go out into the atmosphere, and come back down into a arcing type of way, as if it was a fig falling from a tree. But this is gonna be missiles falling down, man. A fig ain't gonna bring forth a mushroom cloud. You see? But let's read this though, because although missiles gonna be shooting all over or should I say shot from all over the world, because nations go shoot them, but it's a specific place the Lord want them to come. Let's go right here. Verse 5. Isaiah 34:5. For my sword, what's the sword? Those missiles. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Shot out the silos, going out the atmosphere. But eventually it got to come down, right? Intercontinental. Leave one continent to come to another. So let's see what the Lord going to tell us, what these missiles are, the main judgment and destruction, who they going to fall on. Isaiah 34:5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, and behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. It says, and, ain't it, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The Lord been saving these people, not only because this is not going to be the great Edomite judgment. This is just when they're going to be taken out of rulership. It's going to be by way of missiles. Look, we brought up Haman earlier. The same thing they created to use on other nations is going to be used to take them out of power. Just like Haman created those gallows for Mordecai, and him and his family was hung on them. You see? But this is the people who the Lord directing it to, man. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea or Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The same curse that go back to Cain. The same curse. Hey, the serpent got cursed. Or the man, right? He got, was cursed in a way. Cain was cursed. Well, now the judgment is finally about to come to the latter end of their descendants, man. The fugitive have finally been found. You see, right now we just read him off his charges and what he did, but when the Lord come, it's time. Hey, it's time for sentencing, man. But the missiles is what's going to take this man out of rulership, and then even in the kingdom, it's still going to be a great judgment that's waiting for the nation of Edom. We're going to have to get that next and then I end it. Like I said, I'm short on time. But even after this world, he's still going to have a judgment waiting on him. Hey, get a Most High hand, man. If I had the, the little hand sound effect right now, the clapping, I do it. But think about that. The Most High will have, or should I say, he has a great judgment in this world waiting on the so-called white man. And even in the next world to come, judgment still gonna be waiting on him. Think about that. He gonna get destroyed with missiles in this time, right? Your kingdom gonna be gone. Your riches gonna be gone. You gonna get chained up. And in the next world to come, you're gonna wake up with chains on, right? And then you still got a judgment of extermination waiting on you, man. Now we can very well understand why the Lord allowed Esau to think he was on their side. All for this purpose, for judgment, for destruction, man. So it could be that much more worse. Let's get back to these scriptures. Isaiah 34:5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. I'm tempted to get one. I'm going to get it. 2nd Ezra 15. Because it says the Lord will send out flying swords and it's going to come steadfastly unto Babylon. You see? Let's read it real quick. And we're going to go back. 2nd Ezra 15 and 41. It says fire and hell and flying swords. What is that? Missiles. It says in many waters that all fields may be full and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. It says, and they shall break down the cities and walls, talking about those missiles. The same thing is saying in Joel, the 2nd chapter, how I describe those go come into cities. Well, the same thing is saying right here in Esdras with these flying swords. But let's see what the target at, because the Lord gives specifics. And it says, and they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood and grass of the meadows and their corn. And where they going to go? And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon, Edom, and make her afraid, and to show us missiles. And they shall come to her and besiege her, the star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. And then shall the dust and smoke go up unto heaven, and all that be about her shall bewail her. Just like it said in Revelation 18. But back in Isaiah 34, okay, we read that. Let's go to 6. And it says the sword, which is those missiles, is filled with blood. Salaki. It says the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats. Now it's given animals, lambs, goats, but that's a similitude for the people. Remember, this is a sacrifice, as the Apostle Tahar often go into. America's gonna be a big altar to what the Lord gonna give his great sacrifice. You know, you go back into who that was, Elijah, when he went up with the 400 prophets of Baal. What was the altar? He used stones. Well, look at America. It's a concrete jungle, man. Stone, well, concrete. I don't even want to say stones. I don't even want to get it mistaken for precious stones. You see? But concrete. Well, look, that's the altar. And the people, that's the sacrifice. That's the lambs, the goats. These people who gonna be left here. And what's the fire? What's gonna be the fire? Just like Elijah said, the God that answereth by fire, let him be the most high. The fire is gonna be the missiles, man. So let's read it again. Isaiah 34 and 6. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness and with the blood of lambs and of goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams. For Yahweh have a sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And Basra in ancient world was a chief city in Edom. Well, now seeing Edom, the so-called white man, got control over the whole earth. Now what's the modern day Basra? America. This is the chief city in Edom. And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Who is this that coming from Edom? And this is going to be the day of Yahushua. Because it says, verse 8, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion, man. You see? So the Lord, he come and put in a great work for us. Unto the nation of Edom. Let's get Ezekiel, and I end it after this. Like I said, I gotta go. There's a couple more that I had, but wanted down. But as I was making a point, look, judgment ain't just gonna be in this world for the so-called white man. Missiles destroy America, America fall, and then he go in the kingdom. You see, and he get a spot in a government, a spot working. You see, no man. Esau gonna. In Obadiah, so like I'm getting excited, in Obadiah, it says that thou art greatly despised. That's happening now. He ain't only greatly despised by Israelites, but the whole world's hating this man. And the beauty of it is, I was meditating on this the other day. The Lord gonna really have the hate of the so-called white man roll over into the next world to come. That's amazing when you think about this. Because Isaiah 34 said, in the kingdom, everybody gonna say, is this the man? You the one that was doing this to us? Everybody gonna have a problem with it. So destruction coming for Esau in this world and in the world to come. Literally, this is literal, man. Judgment is coming for the so-called white man in this world and in the world to come. or should we say in the kingdom of heaven? Yes, in heaven, which is gonna be on earth, the so-called white man still gonna be hated and gonna get judged for what he did now, what he doing now, and what he did in the past. The Lord ain't gonna let them just escape. Again, they almost got away with it. So let's get this, because this is going into the kingdom of heaven. Now, I want to read this whole chapter, Ezekiel 35. But let's get to the point, because it started off with us prophesying against Mount Seir, which is the nation of Edom. All right, not a literal mount, just like a nickname or a epithet for the nation of Israel is Mount Zion. But we're not a literal, well, I'll say a mountain. We're not a literal mountain, although spiritually we are. So Esau, when it goes into the top, let's just start at the top. Ezekiel 35:1, I'm going to jump down. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Now, the prophets won't be, head to head with a mountain and talking shit against a mountain. No, it's talking about the nation of Edom who dwelt in Mount Seir. What that is, Genesis 36:8, So in this chapter, it's talking to Edom. So let's see what it got to say to Esau. Right now, we got in Ezekiel 34 how the great judgment coming to him in this world, but even in the next world, when we rule and the kingdom go be established, he still got judgment waiting on him. As it said in the Zondervan Compact, great future judgments. But this is man, I'm gonna read the scripture. I just kind of want to rant because thoughts come to your head. But let's get this. This is Ezekiel 35, and I end it in verse 14. Going into Esau, it says, Thus saith Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoiceth. That is, the brother BA got it, just to prove we talking about Mount Seir. Genesis 36:8. It says, Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. The water, brother BA, the water. So we see, as we read in this chapter, prophesy against Mount Seir, all these words are directed towards who? The so-called white man, woman, and child, the nation of Edom, who thought that the Most High was on their side, who thought the Most High was a white boy like them. Right? But let's see what the Lord got to say, even in the next world to come, which we ain't even there yet. We just reading about it right now. So Ezekiel 35:14, it says, Thus saith Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoiceth. Let's stop. When will the whole earth rejoice? When will the whole earth rejoice? It's Proverbs 29:2. And we're going to go back. When is the whole earth going to rejoice? Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. You see? When a righteous are in authority, that's when the people go rejoice. That's why I'm saying what that is, Romans 8, the 8th chapter, that the whole creation is groaning for the sons of God to come into power. Roughly paraphrasing that. Whether they directly know we the Israelites and want us to rule, or indirectly, as far as them sign and crying and hate this current world. But when the righteous on authority, when Yahweh Shai and the Israelites rule, the people rejoice. That's when the world go rejoice. They can have real water, real food. Don't gotta worry about, is this watermelon GMO? Or is it like the other day, my wife, she seen in HEB, it was a super seedless watermelon. How? Super seedless. We don't have to worry about that. Even these heathens at a time, after 1,000 years, they go enjoy the kingdom of heaven too, still being under our rule. It says, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So going back to Ezekiel 35, it says in 14. Now we got the time period, because the world go rejoice when the righteous rule. So 14 and 15 is going into the time of the kingdom of heaven being set up on earth is the point. Now let's see what's going to happen to Esau, because we got how he go get judged in this world, even as he the ruler of it. And when he go be at the bottom in the next world to come, you still going to have judgment waiting on you, even after 1,000 years of hardcore, long days of captivity, man. Come on, man. Let's read this. Ezekiel 35 and 14 and 15, and we'll get out of here. It says, Thus saith Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. When everybody get out of slavery, when we sign our Emancipation Act, to let everybody go get them some land, get them a house and work for us. The point is, Esau gonna be desolate. And this line right up with Isaiah 14. Verse 15, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, which is Esau, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh power. Let's read 14 and 15 together. Ezekiel 35:14. Thus saith Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it. And they shall know that I'm Yahweh. So the Lord said it again, just so we all can know it ain't gonna be not one secret Edomite escape. And he ain't gonna better do blackface and get a fro in the kingdom, you see, and act like a Jake, and we ain't gonna know. Every Edomite gonna get dealt with, man. When we in the kingdom, they still gonna get dealt with. On this side, before the kingdom, they gonna get dealt with. Not by us, the Lord gonna do it. We don't have to do nothing. Yahweh Shai gonna do it, man. So like, I know I said that was it, but it's gotta be it. Gotta be it. Obadiah 1. How could we go into condemning Esau without Obadiah? It's Obadiah 1. We're gonna go straight to the point. Obadiah 1 and 18. Let's start at 17. It says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. So this is going into when we get saved. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. So once we're in the kingdom, it says, verse 18, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh have spoken it. Come on, man. Same thing Ezekiel just said. Nobody gonna be left. This is the judgment that you had because of all that you have done, starting from the serpent, Cain, Esau, all the way down to his descendants, to Joe Biden today. You see? And whoever gonna be the last one to die, whoever it is, the least Edomite, right? The Lord got all your names called, man, and there's no way to get away from it. Although you thought he was on your side, because he allowed you to do this. Like it's saying Psalms, right? Y'all thought he couldn't see, you thought he couldn't hear. He's seeing you perfectly, man, and set you up for the okido. Verse 21, and saviors shall come upon Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahweh's, man. So that's all we waiting on. We seeing them getting exposed right now. But eventually, the sentencing will come. The judgment gonna come, man. You see? Call all Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Call all Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Hey, 4.4 too. That's spiritual, But that's pretty much it. Akim, Aqua. Just want to touch on that. Like I said, watching the apostle lesson earlier, him and Elder D-Mash, and they went into that Psalms 50. How Esau actually thought the Most High was with them this whole time, and it kind of gave me, the inspiration to do this. Because look, it was for a reason, though. Just so the destruction could be that much more worse, man. And I'm thankful the Lord didn't judge Esau's spot. Right? And he let that tab stack up. Because we about to see some stuff. What it's saying, Sirach, there is a couple things, 9 things, I think, that said that make a man happy. And one of them is to see the fall of his enemies, man. And we living in this time. You see? We living in it. But with that, again, the water for tuning in. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the 144,000 out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And keep fighting and keep pushing, and we almost out of here. And with that, shalom.